Hi, welcome to this short tutorial on pivot table calculations. Here what we're going to do is actually just take an in-depth look at the new feature of this pivot table visualization, which includes the calculation of related columns. So to get started, I just have a simple pivot table here just to get an understanding of the data. On the rows, I have a three-level dimension hierarchy going from the continent or region to country to city. I would then have on the top level years and quarters. So I have 2 years here just to keep it simple, 2021 4 quarters. I also only bound one column so far, which is the sales. Let's look at the binding, and I only bind the sales dollars here in terms of just to get a bit of an understanding of what the calculations are going to do. So just to get started, let's just click on the calculated value here on the right side. Now, there is a difference between calculated column and a calculated value. The calculated value is performed after all the aggregations are done here on the final pivot table, whereas a calculated column is done pre-aggregation and it's sent to the database for processing. You will see this happening in quite a few widgets coming up, and click data in 2021 and 2022 as well. So getting started on the calculated value, the first thing you'll see here at the top is adding the name. So we're just going to call it variance to get started. And we have a standard set of variance and percentage of item calculations. These are standard things that we've seen most customers want to do with the pivot table. So we've added, and we may add more in the future. So the very first one is actually called absolute variation. And you can see here that I can pick any column, but I picked the sales column because that's the one that's visible here, and that's the one that makes more sense to do a variance on. And I variance by sum. I could also vary by the average of both of these preemptively to the aggregation that I pick here. So in this case, if we see Americas, where we have 882, 576 of sales, and the variance is 306 across both years. Notice that we don't have a variance on the first column of 2021, obviously because we don't have a previous year to vary against. But if I expand 2021, you'll see that again, that same calculation transposes down to the next level. The first quarter, I don't have a variance because I don't have a previous quarter, but here I do have a variance between quarter 1 and quarter 2 of -78. So let's see what happens in 2021. Do I have a variance again? No, because quarter 1 is not considered as part of quarter 4 of 2020 is not considered part of 2021. So the variance only comes across in different groups of dimensions. As such, we have the variance here, and again we will see that variance not only across the column dimension hierarchies, but also across the individual. I'm just going to expand this out a little bit across the different row dimension hierarchies. Now, moving on to the percent variation, well, this is obviously the same thing, but in the form of a percentage. So here we're just showing the value that you saw before in terms of absolute reference or absolute value, now expressed as a percentage.